They laughed when they saw Martha step out of her old blue pickup truck. Her dress was plain, her shoes were worn, her gray hair was tied back with a simple ribbon. She carried a homemade pie instead of an expensive gift. The grand ballroom fell silent for a second. Then the whispers began. She actually came. I thought she couldn't afford the trip. Look at her clothes. Martha heard every word, but she smiled anyway. She had not come to impress anyone. She had come because family mattered to her. Her niece, Emily, was getting married, and Martha had helped raise her after Emily's mother passed away many years before. Life had never been easy for Martha. After losing her husband, she worked at a small grocery store during the day and cleaned offices at night. Every extra dollar went toward helping Emily finish school. She never expected anything in return. As Emily became successful, she slowly drifted away from the woman who had sacrificed so much for her. Still, Martha loved her like a daughter. She walked toward the gift table and carefully placed her pie beside the expensive wrapped presents. One guest laughed. That might be the cheapest wedding gift I've ever seen. Several people smiled. Martha simply whispered, "It's her favorite apple pie." Emily noticed her aunt from across the room. For a brief moment, guilt crossed her face. But standing beside wealthy friends and her new husband's family, she only gave Martha a distant smile before turning away. The music grew louder. Guests enjoyed expensive food, sparkling drinks, and elegant decorations. Martha quietly found a seat in the far corner. No one invited her into conversations. No one asked how she had been. She watched happily as Emily danced with her husband. That alone made the long drive worth it. Halfway through dinner, the master of ceremonies announced a surprise. "We have a very special guest joining us tonight." The doors opened. A tall man in a dark suit entered with calm confidence. Most guests looked confused. Only Martha recognized him. Her eyes widened. "Daniel." The man smiled warmly. He walked directly across the ballroom, ignoring everyone else, and stopped in front of Martha. Without saying a word, he embraced her. The room became silent. Daniel stepped back. "It's been 20 years, he said softly. Martha smiled through tears. "I never thought I'd see you again." Emily frowned. "Who is he?" One of the businessmen whispered. "That's Daniel Carter, the billionaire investor." The room instantly changed. People who had ignored Martha suddenly stared in disbelief. Daniel turned toward everyone. "I owe this woman my life." Silence filled the ballroom. Years earlier, Daniel had been a frightened teenager living on the streets after escaping an abusive home. Cold, hungry, and alone, he had collapsed outside Martha's grocery store. Everyone else walked past him. Only Martha stopped. She bought him food. She found him clean clothes. Most importantly, she listened. For several weeks, she quietly helped him until a local shelter found him permanent housing. Before leaving, Daniel had promised one thing. "If I ever succeed, I'll come back to thank you." Life took them in different directions. But Daniel never forgot. "I built companies," Daniel said. "I traveled the world. I met presidents and famous people. But I've never met anyone kinder than Martha." Many guests lowered their eyes. Daniel continued, "I came tonight because I finally found the woman who taught me what success really means." Emily slowly approached. "Aunt Martha, why didn't you ever tell me?" Martha smiled gently. "It wasn't my story to tell." Daniel looked around the room. "I arrived a little early. Tonight, I heard people laughing at her clothes. I heard jokes about her gift." He paused. "I also heard conversations some of you probably hoped no one else would hear." The room suddenly became tense. Several guests exchanged nervous looks. Daniel calmly continued. One table discussed hiding company money through fake invoices. A businessman's face turned pale. Another group spoke about cheating elderly clients. A woman nearly dropped her glass. And someone admitted using charity funds for personal vacations. The ballroom became completely silent. Daniel smiled sadly. "It's amazing how honest people become when they believe no one important is listening." One by one, faces turned red. No one laughed anymore. Daniel wasn't finished. "My legal team works closely with financial investigators." He reached into his pocket. "I've already shared what I heard with the proper authorities." Several guests gasped. One man quietly slipped toward the exit. Two police officers entered the ballroom moments later. They politely asked three guests to step outside for questioning. Shock spread through the room. Emily looked around in disbelief. These were the same wealthy people she had desperately wanted to impress. Their expensive suits suddenly meant nothing. Daniel turned back toward Martha. "They judged your simple life. But character has never depended on money." Martha gently touched his arm. "People make mistakes, Daniel." He nodded. "Yes, But kindness should never be mistaken for weakness. Emily burst into tears. She walked toward Martha and fell into her arms. I'm so sorry. I forgot everything you did for me. I became so focused on appearances that I stopped seeing what truly mattered. Martha hugged her tightly. You found your way back. That's enough for me. The bride's father quietly approached. He cleared his throat. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we honored the wrong people tonight. He walked to the gift table. From among the luxury boxes and designer bags, he carefully picked up Martha's homemade pie. This, he said, holding it high, is the most valuable gift in this room. The guests applauded, not because they were told to, because they finally understood. Emily asked the kitchen staff to serve Martha's pie for dessert. Every slice disappeared within minutes. Guests who had ignored Martha now lined up to speak with her. Some apologized, others simply thanked her for reminding them of what really matters. Martha accepted every apology with quiet grace. She held no bitterness, only peace. Later that evening, Daniel handed Martha a small envelope. Inside was the deed to a beautiful little cottage near a peaceful lake. I know you'll probably tell me it's too much. She smiled. It is. Daniel laughed. So let me finish. The cottage also includes a community kitchen. Martha looked up. What for? I'd like you to do what you've always done. Feed people, help families, give hope. I'll pay every expense. Tears filled Martha's eyes. You remembered. I remembered everything. 1 year later, the little community kitchen served hundreds of meals every week. Lonely seniors found friendship there. Children received warm dinners after school. Struggling families found support without judgment. A sign hung near the entrance. It read, kindness costs little, but it changes everything. Emily volunteered there every weekend with her husband. Daniel often visited quietly, washing dishes beside everyone else. No reporters, no cameras, no speeches, only grateful hearts. Visitors often asked Martha the secret to her peaceful smile. She always answered the same way. When people laugh at your simple life, don't waste time proving them wrong. Keep living with kindness, because sooner or later, the truth has a way of introducing itself. And everyone who heard her words left carrying something far more valuable than wealth. They left believing that the richest life is not measured by what we own, but by the love we leave behind.